everybody. Welcome back. This is Sandy. Waited a few days to get some somewhat sunny weather again. So today you are going to need 2 towels. You want them to be about the same height when they're folded. And you can set those aside for now. But let's go ahead and get started. Let's get stretched out. Let's bring the legs out in front. Let's inhale. Come all the way up. Exhale, all the way forward. And again, inhale, reach all the way up. Exhale, forward. And we'll slide up. Let's bring the legs into a cross-leg position. And let's slide the hands forward. So today, you've got some special things, always different every time. And also a special welcome to, I understand there may be some more yoglers, folks from Google here. And let's pull up, let's bring the hands behind you. I've taught at Google for many years, as you probably know. And let's push the knees down, push the hips up. We're just stretching out the quads, opening up the chest, rolling the shoulders back, bring the hips down. And let's come off to your right side, left arm up and over. Inhale up, off to your left. And inhale back up. Let's change the leg positions. Walk the hands forward again. So all of these videos are under 40 minutes. They're between 30 and 40 minutes, usually right around 35. Big hip opener. Come back up, bring the hands behind you. This time, the finger's going away from you. And let's press the knees down, push the hips up. Again, stretching out the quads. Good stretch. Bring the hips down. And let's come off to your right side. Left arm comes up and over. Inhale up, off to your left. And inhale back up. Let's bring the legs out in front. And let's inhale up, exhale forward. And again, inhale all the way up, exhale forward. And inhale back up. Let's bring you to your hands and knees onto your mat. And let's round the back all the way up. Exhale out, back to neutral, arch the back the other way, coming into cow. And back to neutral. Let's push the hips back, bring it into child's pose, stretch out. And from here, let's tuck the toes, pull the hips up, back into downward facing dog. And let's come forward into our plank. Lower and down to chaturanga, pull it right up into up dog. Flip the toes, back into down dog. And let's come again forward into plank, lower down, sweep it up. We're going to come into a couple of nice stretches here, nice hip openers. So from your down dog, raise the right leg up. Let's let the leg flop over, just open up the hip, rotate around, other direction. Extend it out, straight out behind you. And exhale, bring the knee to your nose, send it back. And bring your knee forward again. This time bring your knee up by your right tricep and then lower down. So your knee will be off the mat. And the hips come down. Bring your chest down. Bring everything all the way down. Stretch up the arms. This is called tipsy frog. So you should be feeling a really nice stretch right in the hip flexor, groin area. And come back down. Tuck that left toe, lift the knee back up into down dog, and bring that right knee forward again. Bring it over to your left tricep. Extend the leg off the mat to your left, and release the left arm up. Hand comes down, right foot back into downward facing dog, and bring the foot down. Push the hips back, come forward into plank, lower down to chaturanga, up into up dog. Flip the toes back into down dog, and this time raise the left leg up. Left leg's gonna flop over. Just gonna rotate that leg around, work out the hip flexor area here. Extend that leg straight out behind you, and exhale, bring the knee to your nose, send it back. Bring the knee to your left tricep, lower down, knee will come off the mat, hips come down, belly comes down, everything down. Stretch up the arms, getting a good stretch. And this one's for Nita. She didn't ask for this one, but we're going to do a few others that you did ask for that are similar, kind of back bendy moves. And let's come back down, tuck the toe, bring it back into downward facing dog, left leg up. Bring the left knee forward, bring your knee over to your right tricep, extend the leg off the mat to your right, and release up into a star pose. Hand comes down, left leg back into downward facing dog, and let's come forward into plank, lower down to chaturanga, up into up dog. Flip the toes back into down dog. Now we're going to come into a fun little sequence here. So let's raise the right leg up. Bring the right knee forward. Place the foot in between your hands. Plant the left foot. Flatten the ground. Bring it up into warrior one. Arms all the way up. From here, shift your weight to your right foot. Let the left leg load up behind you into warrior three. And then we're going to come back into warrior one. So foot's going to come down back behind you, arms back up into warrior one. And from here, inhale up, swan dive the arms all the way down. Bring the left foot back into downward facing dog. Come forward into plank, down to chaturanga, up into up dog or cobra, by the way. Cobra is always an option here, not using the wrists. Come back down. And then bring the feet up behind you. This is the one for Anita. Bring your hands back. Find your heels and pull it up into bow, Danurasana. Nice chest opener. Good stretch for the arms. And release. Push back into child's pose. Stretch it out. Taking an extra breath or two in child's pose here. The sun is starting to come out, starting to get warm out here. From child's pose, tuck your toes, bring the hips back into downward facing dog. And again, forward into plank, down to chaturanga, up into up dog. Flip the toes, back into down dog. Left leg reaches up, left foot comes forward, place it in between your hands, right foot plants, back into our warrior one. Shift your weight to your left foot. Right leg is going to come up behind you into warrior three. Step back into warrior one. Inhale up, swan dive out, down. Bring the left foot back into downward facing dog. Going through our vinyasa, forward into plank, down to chaturanga, up into up dog or cobra. And bring it all the way down. Bring the arms by your sides. Bring the feet up behind you. Find one foot, other foot. Stretch up. A good stretch into bow, Danurasana. Let's release, push back into child's pose, stretch it out. From child's pose, Take an extra breath here. And tuck the toes, pull the hips back into downward facing dog. Forward into plank, down to chaturanga, up into up dog. Flip the toes back into down dog. And let's hop or walk into standing forward fold. Pulling the arms up, bringing the hips down, coming right into chair, Vinyasa. So you should be feeling some nice stretches here in the calves, the Achilles. And coming a little bit lower, bringing the arms up a little higher. Let's bring it up onto your tippy toes. And then coming all the way down, open up the knees, bring it into toe balance. And bring the hands down to the mat. Let's bend the elbows, crunch down, and take each hand, bring them back, and find your heels. So your knees are wide apart, just crunching. This is Malasana, the garland pose. Keep your right hand there, take your left arm, bring it over the back, meet up with your right hand, and loop up that right knee into a bound garland. Let's release. Left hand back underneath, right arm is going to go over, make the connection. And release. Let's plant both hands flat in the ground. And coming into Bakasana, crane. Lots of variations here. You can try which works best for you. Easy version, bend the elbows, take each tricep, snug it up nicely against your knees, come forward, making a shelf with your elbows, maybe one foot off the ground, maybe the other one, maybe both. And harder variation is where you lift up the hips a little more. Shift the weight forward, clamp the knees right around your triceps, almost into your armpits. Arms are straighter, you're a little higher off the ground. And from here, if you're looking forward, and if you don't have a cat coming towards you, you can maybe jump back into plank. Otherwise, walk back, lower down to chaturanga, up into up dog. Flip the toes back into down dog. Let's drop down to the knees, push back into child's pose, stretch it out. And walk your hands off to the right, off your mat, push the hips off to your left. Stretching out the left oblique, hands come back to center, hips come back to center. Walk the hands off to the left, push the hips off to the right. And hands back to center, hips back to center. From here, let's tuck the toes, pull the hips up, back into downward facing dog. And going through our vinyasa, come forward into plank, down to chaturanga. I'll show you what it looks like to go into cobra. So if you come all the way down, bring the belly down, and then just stretch up. You can even release your hands. They're not even being used here. Really good if you have wrist issues. And come back down. Tuck the toes, back into downward facing dog. And let's come back into plank. Bring your left hand to the center, release your right arm up. And we're coming into side plank, Vasisthasana. Easier version, knee is down. Harder version, top leg is up, maybe even all the way up, finding your toe. And release. Bring that right foot all the way forward, up into a lunge. And release all the way up into a high lunge. So this is different than Warrior One because our back heel is off the ground. Inhale up, exhale, and Warrior Two. Right arm to the front, left arm behind you. Reach forward. Flip the right palm up and left hand just going to slide down the back of your leg. Inhale up. Back into warrior two. Reach forward again. Bring the right elbow to your right knee and left arm from left hand to your left foot makes one big straight line. And let's drop down. Right hand comes down to the mat. Hips come lower. Options here. Option A, left arm comes over the back. Option B, right arm underneath. Make the connection, pull up, get a good stretch here. And then option C, left foot comes in, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 steps. Shift your weight to your left foot. Slowly roll up. Straighten out the back. Straighten out the top leg. Open up the chest. Into bird of paradise. How'd we do? Let's bring it to the front of your mat. Inhale all the way up. Pull up. Swan dive out. Exhale down. Now, as you know, in yoga, everything is symmetrical, so we're going to try the other side. Come back down. Let's step back into downward facing dog. And come forward into plank. Lower down to chaturanga, up into up dog or cobra. Flip the toes, back into down dog. Let's come back into plank. Right hand is going to come to the center and bring it into side plank. Vasisthasana again. Right knee can be down for more stability. Left leg can be up like this. Or like this. Arm comes down, left foot comes forward into a lunge. Release all the way up into a high lunge. Inhale up, exhale into warrior two. Shoulders are back, palms are down. Let's reach forward. Flip the left palm up and right hand is going to slide down the back of the leg. Inhale up. Exhale back into warrior two. Reach forward. Left elbow to the left knee. Right hand to your right foot. One big straight line. And drop down. Left hand down to the mat. Drop the hips. Maybe slide that right foot out a little more. And then options. Right arm can come over behind you. Left hand comes underneath, make the connection. Right foot comes in, shift your weight to that right foot. Slowly stand up. Stretch out the right leg, roll the shoulder back, and pull it up. Release when you're done. We'll stand with the feet about hip distance apart, sweep the arms all the way up. Inhale up, exhale off to your right. How'd we do? Inhale up, off to your left. You know, one side is always easier than the other one. I don't know why it is, but it is. Inhale up, and exhale. Inhale back up to the other side. And inhale up, and we'll step up to the front of your mat. Inhale up, swan dive out, exhale down. So now's a good time to move our blankets or towels. We're gonna want to have one on each side of your mat, right around there. Inhale up to a flat back, and exhale down. Let's hop or walk back into plank. Lower down to chaturanga, up into up dog or cobra. Flip the toes, back into down dog. Big stretch for the backside. And from here, let's raise the right leg up. We're going to bring the right knee all the way forward, right into pigeon kavatasana. So we're sitting up, settling in, letting the hips get low. This is where, if you want, you can take one blanket, pull it underneath your right hip, if that works for you. And walk your hands forward, coming down into sleeping pigeon. Slide up and shift your weight to your right hip. This is where you actually might want to move this out of the way. And left leg is going to sweep all the way around. And let's find that left foot. Bend that left knee. And before we go further, we're just going to reposition this right knee a little bit. Just position it so it's pointing off towards the side. And then take your left foot, place it into the crook of your right elbow. Left arm comes around, and we straighten up the back as much as we can into cradle the baby. Let's straighten out the left leg, straighten out the right leg, pull up through the spine, and pull that leg towards you. So we're just getting a good stretch to the hamstrings. Now this is where you're going to want to maybe kind of fine tune where your blankets or towels are. You want to have them just a little bit in front of your hips, and like that. And pull the leg up, pull it towards you, and we're just getting a really good stretch to that left hamstring. Hold that foot with your right hand, and with your left hand, which is now free, we're going to yank up the leg, jam the shoulder underneath, and then hinge forward from the waist. So did we get that? So yank, jam, hinge, technical terms. And you want to be sure that your knee is as close to your shoulder as you can possibly get it. If it's not that close, get that arm in there a little more. Lean forward. Elbows are bent, leaning forward. And then we're just going to straighten up the arms. So elbows are bent, straighten them out so the hips come off the ground and maybe the foot comes off the ground. Now you're really engaging your core here. So it's called elephant's trunk. And you come back down. Now if you're able to get that even for just a half a second, then you'll feel it deep here in your core area probably tomorrow morning. So just to prepare you for that. All right, let's inhale all the way up. Exhale forward. And slide up. Let's plant the feet. Pull forward into a squat. Stretch right up into standing forward fold. Inhale up to a flat back. Exhale down. And let's hop or walk back into plank. Lower down to chaturanga, up into up dog or cobra. Flip the toes, back into down dog. Push back at your good hamstring stretch here. And then raise the left leg up. Left knee is going to come all the way forward into pigeon, Danurasana. Sitting up, settling in. You want to try and get the hips as low as you can to the mat. So option if you want, again, you can take your towel, wedge it underneath your left hip, and bring the forearms down, get a deeper stretch to the hip area. Just pull back up and move the towel. But as you know where you want to kind of have these, just a little bit in front of your hips. Shift your weight to your left hip. Sweep that right leg all the way around. And before we reposition, we just want to check this left knee. We want to have it pointing more off to the side. And take the right foot, pull up through the spine, pull it, just get a good stretch to the hamstring. And again, coming into cradle the baby, we're going to bend that knee, place that foot into the crook of your left elbow. Right arm comes around. And we pull up through the spine. Stretch it up. I don't do this one, as a lot of you know, very often because I can't really show it off that well. I have a very long waist, and so therefore it's hard for me to straighten out my back, but I think you get what we're supposed to be doing here. All right, then release the left leg out in front. Stretch the right leg out, pull up through the spine, pull that leg towards you. Again, you should be feeling a nice stretch here through the back of the leg. And then hold that foot with just your left hand, so your right hand is free. Take that right arm. We're going to pull the leg towards you, get the arm underneath, jam it in there, and then hinge forwards. I don't know if you can see this motion. So when you lift, jam, hinge, you're shifting your whole weight forward. And again, a very crucial distance, here's your metric. If you can take your left hand and you can reach both your kneecap and your shoulder blade, you're good. If you can't, or if it's not very good, get it in a little more. Just kind of wedge it in there. Hinge forward. Elbows are bent. Other hand goes equidistant on the other side. And we're looking straight forward. Elbows are bent. Pull your towels in if you need to. And then we just basically straighten out the arms. So we straighten out the arms, lift up the hips, engage the core, and so the foot is going to come off the ground. And come back down. It's a good one, huh? Great for the core area. You'll feel that one tomorrow morning. All right, let's release. You can bring the blankets out of the way. And let's inhale, come all the way up. Exhale forward. And inhale up. I'm going to turn just to face you for this one. Let's bring it into a cross-leg position. So that one, as I said, was called elephant trunk or Ekahasta Bhujasana. Easy for you to say. Pull up through the spine, bring your right hand on your left knee, twist around. And other hand on the other knee, twist around that way. Let's come back to center. And let's lift up your left foot, place it on the outside of your right thigh. I'm mirroring you if you haven't figured that out. Pull up through the spine and bring your left hand behind you, right elbow into the knee. Push against it and give yourself a really good twist here. So you should be feeling some nice stretches in the glute area. Let's come back to center. Let's unravel the legs. And let's take the opposite foot, place it on the outside of your left thigh, pull up through the spine, right hand behind you. Left elbow into your knee, and twist around. Come back to center. All right, let's bring both legs straight out in front. I'm going to turn back so my feet are right up at the front of my mat, or even beyond if you're really tall. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale forward. And let's slide in. Let's bring the feet in. And we're going to tilt back so we're right on our sits bones. Shift back. We're going to bring it right into boat. Stretch out the legs. Stretch out the arms into boat. So I'm seeking a little more core work in here. From here, let's exhale down into long boat. Inhale up into boat. Exhale down. One more time, inhale up. And exhale down, and then come all the way down. Bring the arms by your sides, and let's bring the feet up. So your legs are straight up. Bring up through the spine. And then hold it here or lift up into shoulder stand. Hands support your hips, legs reach up. Maybe open up the legs, stretch out the inner thighs. And pull all the way over into plow. Release your hands from your hips. And we're going to slowly roll down, one vertebrae at a time. Bringing the back down to the mat so that your back is down. Legs are straight up. And legs come lower and lower and lower and lower. And bring them down and slide your feet in so that your feet are about 6 inches from your hips. And then articulate your spine and bring the hips off the mat. That's where I think I need to readjust. So from bridge, Setu Bandhasana, one big straight line from your chin all the way to your kneecaps, pulling up, lifting up, stretching that out. And let's roll the shoulders underneath, clasp your hands, pull the hips up a little bit higher. Maybe walk the feet in, reach your heels, push the hips up, a little higher still. And then option here, from here you can bring the arms up, hands come over right by your ears, and we're going to push it up into, or for Danurasana, back bend. Stretching out the tops of the thighs. Let's come down, shoulders first, rest of the back. Bring the knees into your chest, wrap your arms around or underneath, either one, your knees. Stretch out the back in the other direction. Coming back to center, let's reach the hands in between. Pull the feet up towards the sky, over towards your head, and then down into happy baby. Maybe rock from side to side. Press the back into the mat. And let's come back to center. Bring your knees back into your chest. Bring both arms out to both sides. And bring your knees off to your right. Here comes the sun. Inhale up, off to your left. And back up. Bring the arms back up by your sides. Stretch out those legs one last time. And very slowly, we're going to lower the legs, coming lower and lower and lower and lower. And just before they reach the ground, bring the knees into your chest. Let's send them back up. And one more time, lower, 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 lower. And then finally, all the way down to the ground. Closing the eyes here, coming into our final Shavasana. So we're just taking a few minutes to release, rest, feeling the body sink into the mat, feeling the rhythm of the breathing, feeling the weight of the shoulders, the heavier bones sinking in, the hips, and the limbs, the arms, the legs, the head. Knees sink down. Releasing the body. Tuning into that rhythm. Breathing. Breath going in. Coming back out. Feeling at peace, feeling content, feeling that we'll make it through this coronavirus pandemic. We will make it through. And we'll be much stronger for it. Very gently rolling off to one side into the fetal position. And when you're ready, pushing it up into an easy seated position, stretching up through the spine, stretching out the core, the spinal cord, rolling the shoulders back and around. Let's roll the head around, stretch out the neck, all the way around. Stretch out the other side. All the way around. Coming back to center, coming back into your space, wherever you're doing yoga, your garage, your deck, living room. And let's come into one big breath to conclude our practice today. Great big inhale, fill the lungs all the way up. And exhale all the way down to heart center. The light in me honors the light in you, all of you. And namaste. Have a great rest of your day, you guys. Thank you very much for watching. Come again. I'll be posting probably about 2 a week, weather permitting. Thank you very much.